before we actually jump into the exercises, there's one last thing that I want to show you that will be very, very useful, and it will help you improve your copywriting, and that's, of course, exercises. Copywriting is a skill, and you need to practice it to get better at it. So here I have a collection of exercises that you can use and do to improve your copywriting. The first one, I think there's a great setup for you to do that when you are driving in a car and you see a banner ad, or when you're just browsing the web and you see an ad that makes you click on it, that grabs your attention, and so on. First of all, for this one, we have the swipe file. The idea behind the swipe file is that back when the big ad agencies started, they used to keep these real print copies of the ads from magazines and newspapers in a big drawer or a folder, which was called a swipe file. So this is where this comes from, and you can find some interesting ideas here on swipefile.com, and you should have your own folder where you can screenshot and keep all the good ads that kind of make you click, make you sign up, make you buy something, make you laugh, amaze you, or just seem pretty interesting to you and give you great ideas. And so always when you are writing copy and starting your next campaign, you can go through your swipe file to try and improve your copy and to just kind of quickly brainstorm your old good ideas just so you don't forget them. So now, moving on through the exercises one by one, flip benefits into features, the same. Even if it's your ads or some other company's ads, just practice it. See a feature, turn it into a benefit, flip it, ask the so what several times until you get to the benefit. Maybe you can go ahead and pitch them that copy, and who knows, maybe they'll hire you. And you can tell them, hey guys, you messed up here. You are just talking about features. People don't know what you're talking about. Do you want me to fix your copy? I would please like to take your $10,000 for that. You know, but it works. I've done it. And so the next one that I also like to do, especially when I'm on the highway and I see all these ads along the road, is mental ad rewriting. You can do this with your own ads, with the ads of the competition, with ads of other companies and other brands. Just ask yourself the question, how can I make this ad better? Take a look at it. Go and take some of the most famous ads in the world and think, how can you make it better? If you can't make it better, think why. That's, I think, one great exercise to do, and you can do it. You don't have to like sit down and do that specifically. You can do it kind of in between, just going on with your life. You're going to see ads everywhere, and that's good about this. It's that they are really everywhere, and so as soon as you see them, you can do that to practice. The next one is the trim and trim even more exercise. And remember what Blaise Pascal says, I've only made this letter long because I did not have the time to make it shorter. And so sometimes when you see very complex value propositions, or the value proposition that you're working on now is very complex, think about how you can trim it, how you can make it shorter, and communicate it very, very clearly and easily. That's actually hard. It's a process and it takes a lot of time. You would think that you can just sit down and work on it, but it takes iterations. It takes layers and levels of understanding for you to get to the bottom of it, and it takes time. Don't worry about that. I mean, the company can go bankrupt while you're figuring it out, but that's another problem for later. Also, you know the 25 headlines tool that I gave you before. This is also a good one to do anytime you create a campaign and you write copy. Try to test at least 25 headlines and maybe even 5 different hooks to see which one works better. I'm sure that you will get great results from that. And the way that you can do the 25 headlines is to maybe try and do one using one type of advice that I gave you, and then do the next one using another type, and you can see that the tool is constructed in this way as well. So the next 4 exercises that I want to show you is to hand copy the masters. So now that's interesting as well, because you can choose someone great and rewrite what he wrote exactly to embody their style. I'm not a big fan of this myself, but I thought it would be a good idea to tell you. Some colleagues are finding great results with that. So what they do is, especially the newbies, and some of my students do that as well, they find someone who they admire, who they think is writing exceptionally well, and they copy by hand precisely what they have written to embody their style of language. And it works for some odd kind of reason, and some people have great success for that, especially if you're starting from the very bottom. Like if you have experience in marketing, maybe it's not such a good exercise, but if you don't, it's maybe a good exercise. But I can't tell you really, I haven't done it. I know it helps a lot of people though, that's why I'm giving it to you. So the next one is to push the boundaries. Sometimes what we do is we trim, we distill, we refine, we work on something too much. Our brains are hardwired into it, and we overthink it, and we've distilled it and polished it, and it's now crystal clear and working well. And so we're kind of afraid to touch it anymore. So my advice at this stage is to try and push the boundaries. Don't be boring. Make it a little bit more sexy. Give it bang. Make it a little bit more fun. Give it more energy, and kind of try to push it over the top and over the boundaries. Now, next, when talking about copywriting, this is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you, and the best exercise that you should try and do. When writing copy, you have to be aware of this idea of the transfiguration of copy. So what the transfiguration of copy is that you write script or write a book, then this book could be turned into a movie. All of its separate chapters could be turned into podcasts. They could be turned into blog articles. These blog articles could then be further turned into micro content, and from there they can be turned into tweets and Facebook posts and Quora answers and Reddit threads and so on. So you have to be aware of that ability of copy and content to be transfigured into something else. So generally what I like to do when I'm writing copy is to do a double or a triple attack. A double attack is a term that comes from chess, which is when a piece is threatening 2 other pieces, or sometimes if you're using a knight, it could be 3 or 4. And so in this case, it could be very useful for you to think this way. Like, maybe I can start with a blog, then I can turn that blog into a video, and then I can break it down into, I can create an infographic about it to explain it, just like we have done with the digital performance marketing model, right? It's a very complex idea, so this image really helps in the explanation of it. And then we could possibly make a video and really think how we can explain it. Even though I invented it and I have explained it to a lot of people, I don't have a clear, simple, and distilled explanation of it. So that's one of the exercises that we are going to do later. And the next advice I have for you is to read your copy out loud, because this will help you understand if it sounds natural. Because sometimes we can make this mistake when writing, that we are over perfecting it in the writing, and then it sounds weird when you actually read it. So keeping that fluidity is very good. And also the hit the record button just when you need to communicate something and write copy about it. I think one of the best places to start is to just hit the record button, say it, explain it like you would to a normal person, and then sit down and refine it and turn it into short, clear, and concise copy. Because when we are actually explaining things to people in a normal way, we have the general these moments like this one when I'm wondering what to say. I don't have a clear script that I can read out. And so if you do record it with the record button, one piece of advice here: do not stop the recording. That's very important. Just explain it like the person is in front of your eyes and they're not going away. You can't just stop the recording and say, no, that's not good. Go all the way until you have covered all of it, and then transcribe it and try and fix it. All right, so this is it for the copywriting exercises, and it's finally time for us to start doing the actual exercises and start writing campaign copy. So we'll do that in the next video.